before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them into Gerar, and the Ethiopians were overthrown, and they could not recover themselves. For they were destroyed before the Lord and before his host, and they carried away very much spoil. And they smote all the cities round about Gerar, for the fear of the Lord came upon them, and they spoiled all the cities, and there was exceeding much spoil in them. They smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. Now, see, after reading all that, I want to go back a little bit. We're going to go backwards to verses 6 and 7. Now, this is after, because in verse 5 it says, and the kingdom was quiet before him. Now we go to verses 6 and 7. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those years, because the Lord had given him rest. Therefore he said unto Judah, let us build these cities, and make about them walls, and towers, gates, and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought the Lord our God, we have sought him, and he hath given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. Now, let me ask you this. So God gave them rest. And then later on, war came upon him. But it says in verses 6 and 7, he says, let us build walls, towers, cities. Let us build these things. Do you think he would have been able to build those things during the time of war?
No.
Do you think he would have been able to actually succeed in war if he didn't build those things?
Good. That's good, Alan. That's good.
See, a lot of the time, God will give us peace. We'll do everything that's right in the eyes of the Lord. We're not doing anything wrong. God will give us peace. But are we taking advantage of it? See, a lot of the time, we'll have so much rest. We'll have so much peace. We'll have nothing going on. Our mind is finally free of worry. And we're able to sit back and say, unfortunately, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but a lot of the time we need to be doing more than that.
It's good.
See, we can be a good Christian, but also be a lazy Christian. We can do what's right in the eyes of the Lord, but that doesn't mean that we're preparing for what's going to happen next.
That's good, Alan.
See,
Preach
peace,
it, brother.
there's no such thing as peace forever in this human life. No. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. See, you can never just be in peace your entire life, just full peace. No, see, peace, God gives us peace not only as rest, but as a time for preparation. Because things will happen to us. That's guaranteed. It says in the Bible, we will go through things. So when God gives us peace, don't you think it may be a little easier to go through these things if during that time of peace we prepare for the war?
It's good.
See, what we could do, we could be doing all that's right in the eyes of the Lord, and then by the time, the war comes, whatever it is that's going to be hit with us, we're not prepared because maybe we took advantage of the peace and thought, you know what, I'm really good with God. I could just read my Bible once a week instead of once a day. I mean, Glee's coming on, and after Glee I'm always tired. Or I just got that new game. I mean, it's okay if I don't read the Bible tonight. No. Or maybe I don't have to go to church this Sunday. Or maybe I could, it'd be okay if I slipped up once or twice. I'm doing good. You ever hear people say that about their diet? See, it doesn't work like that. You have to prepare. If you really want to succeed in life, if you really want to get closer to God, if you really want to call yourself a full-blown Christian with the full armor of God, you better get yourself in the blacksmith's forge and forge your armor.
Amen. It's good.
You want to sit there you want to go into war with nothing but a loincloth and a stick? Or would you rather go into the blacksmith, into the Word? Because it says in Timothy, I believe it is, that the Word is sharper than any double-edged sword. Meaning, you better get yourself a sword instead of some stick. You can't win this battle without a stick. You need to get yourself in the blacksmith, to the blacksmith of heaven, to the forge, to the Bible. Prepare yourself. Get on that armor of God. Get on the breastplate of righteousness. Get that shield of faith. Sharpen your sword. Get your shoes of the readiness of the gospel of peace on. Get yourself
Man.
ready for war, because if you do not do that, you
Woo!
will fall.
Preach it, brother.
You will fall. That's just guaranteed. And see, here's the beautiful thing about this, though. This is beautiful. As Pastor Jesse always likes to say, it's beautiful. I want to read verse 13 again. There's a certain part in there. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them into Gerar, and the Ethiopians were thrown that they could not recover themselves.
Man.
How many of y'all have ever tried to go through a problem by yourself?
Man.
Maybe you went into war with your loincloth and a stick. And somehow you actually kind of drove them away for a little bit. You felt proud. You felt on top of the world. But then later on, that problem just kind of came back. You can't just make your problems flee temporarily. If you really want to get rid of that problem, you better get your armor on. You better use that time of peace that God gives you and prepare. Because if you don't, it's just going to come back on and on and on. And you're going to sit there and say, why is this happening? Why does this keep coming back? I thought I got rid of it. No, you didn't. You didn't. You sprayed it in the face with water and said, shoo, and it came back 5 minutes later. It doesn't work like that. If you really want to get rid of your problem, you put on that armor. You want to put on that armor, you use the peace that God has given you. Because if you don't use the peace that God has given you, you're done. It's not going to work. Now, I'm not saying that God can't bring you back. I'm not saying that, because God is a very merciful God. If you can mess up, like you can not prepare, and then God will bring you back. However, it sure is so much more painful to do it that way.
Man.
Do you really want to go through life as a painful Christian or a successful Christian? Put on that armor, and the only way to do that is by preparing with the peace that God gives you. It's plain as day. There's no way simpler to say it than when you have peace, prepare.
Man.
That's all I have.
All right.